you will be able to see the presentation, please inform me immediately. Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
This time, na?
Oh, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Uh, Yesterday's lecture we have discussed about the design of one-way slab, the design steps, and majorly the focus was again on the concept of bond, how the development length is calculated by considering the bond strength between concrete and steel. We focused more on that, and we also completed the design steps for design of one-way slab. So today we will shift to the numerical example. This time I have typed the entire numerical example in the slide itself. So instead of you using now the tablet, I'm going to show you the numerical solved numerical example through the PPTs. Okay, so let us start with that. We will start with the design of simply supported one-way slab first. Then we will move to design of continuous one-way slab, and finally then design of cantilever slab. So this is the problem statement. I request everybody to note down the problem statement. I will quickly read the problem statement. Design the slabs for the centerline plan shown. Use M20 grade concrete and Fe415 grade steel. Take exposure condition as mild. Live load equal to 3 kN per meter square and width of support equal to 230 mm. So the given data is, we know the grade of concrete, grade of steel, live load is also given, and the width of support is also given as 230 mm. So for this data, we are supposed to design all these slabs. So if you observe the figure carefully, there are total 4 slabs. The first one is S1, which is the slab having a largest length in say y direction. Okay, so it is 1.5 meter by 12 meter. This is dimension of S1. Normally such type of a slabs we need to cast above the passage area. Okay, then the second slab is having a dimension of 4 meter by 9 meter. Third and fourth are also having the same dimension. So when you observe the plan, when you are observing the plan, you just observe the dimensions. We have to first crudely decide or find out what is the Ly by Lx ratio. Okay, so in case of S1 slab, the Ly by Lx ratio is 12 by 1.5 meter. So it is obviously greater than 2. So this slab is your one-way slab. Okay, and the span will be along the shorter direction. It means S1 slab is supported by this and this beam. Okay, this first beam and this is the second beam. S2 slab, if we come to the S2 slab, the dimensions of S2 slab are 4 by 9 meter, and if we consider again the ratio of Ly by Lx, that is 9 by 4, the value is again coming greater than 2. So S2 is also a one-way slab. Now the slab of the span of this slab will be again along the shorter span, that is along the 4 meter. Span, what I mean to say span of the slab, it means along the shorter span we are supposed to place the main reinforcement, and along the another direction the longitudinal the distribution steel will be provided. So in case of S2 slab, the main reinforcement will be provided along the 4 meter direction, and along the 9 meter direction there will be distribution steel. Now, if you come to the other remaining two slabs, S3 and S4, they are also having a same direction. And if you consider all these three slabs together, S2, S3, and S4, actually it is a continuous slab. So when a casting of this slab is done, as the dimensions of each slab is same, the casting is done at the same time and it is a continuous slab. So we need to design all these S2, S3, and S4 slab as a continuous slab. And S1 slab we will design like a simply supported slab. So is it clear to everybody? Whatever I have explained right now? Any doubts in this? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever I have explained, I think you have understood it clearly. Any doubts in this?
No, ma'am.
So whatever I
Ma'am,
have explained, yes.
S2, S3, S4 continuous slab.
स्लॅब काय आहे? म्हणजे S1 का नाही कंटिन्युअस स्लॅब?
S1 चा स्पॅन कुठे आहे? शॉर्टर डायरेक्शन मध्ये, म्हणजे तुमचा मेन रेन्फोर्समेंट हा 1 असा येणार. माझा एरो दिसतोय तुम्हाला?
येस मॅम.
हा, आता त्याची मेन रेन्फोर्समेंट ही अशी आहे. ती इकडे पुढे कंटिन्यू करू शकतो का आपण? नाही. सो देर इज अ ब्रेक अलॉंग दिस बीम. सो आणि इकडे या बाजूला काही स्लॅब नाहीये, त्यामुळे हा स्लॅब तुमचा सिम्पली सपोर्टेड स्लॅब म्हणून डिझाईन होईल. वेअरएज तुम्ही S2 ला आलात तर S2 मधलं जे मेन रेन्फोर्समेंट आहे ते S3 मध्ये पुढे एक्सटेंड होणार, बिकॉज देर इज अ कंटिन्युटी बिटवीन द टू स्लॅब्स. आता ह्याचं डायरेक्शन काय आहे? मेन रेन्फोर्समेंट प्लेस करायचं या डायरेक्शन मध्ये, 4 मीटरच्या डायरेक्शन मध्ये. सेम S3 ला पण आहे. आता S3 चं डायमेन्शन जर उलटे असते, म्हणजे उलटे इन द सेन्स 4 मीटर बाय 9 मीटर असं जर नसता त्याचा हे डायमेन्शन, आणि तो रेशो समजा Ly बाय Lx हा रेशो जर लेस दॅन 1 असता, तरी सुद्धा आपण हा वन वे म्हणून डिझाईन करू शकतो, so that I can give the continuity of the reinforcement from one slab to the another slab. Okay, so S1, S2 आणि S3 इथं कंटिन्युएशन आहे स्लॅब मध्ये, कारण ह्या तिन्ही स्लॅब मध्ये मेन रेन्फोर्समेंट हे आपण एकाच डायरेक्शन मध्ये प्लेस करणार आहोत along the shorter span, and therefore these three slabs are to be designed like a continuous one-way slab. Got it?
Yes ma'am.
Have you noted down the problem statement, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the first step now in the design? We will first start with the design of S1 slab. What is the first step?
Assume depth
You
trial.
trial.
We need to calculate the trial depth. Okay. Now the span of this slab is 1500 mm, that is 1.5 meter. So to find out the trial depth, the formula is there. What is that formula? D is equal to span upon L by D into alpha 1. That is our formula. Okay. Span is already known to us, which is 1500 mm. L by D ratio now we need to calculate. Now L by D ratio is to be calculated based on the type of the slab. So all of you just open the code. I will try to shift to the code now. I hope this will work today. Are you able to see the code?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes ma'am.
Great. So open page number 37. On page number 37, clause number 23.2.1, we have the span to effective depth ratios. So for simply supported slab, the ratio is given as 20. Okay, so L by D ratio is to be considered as 20 for simply supported span. So same value is placed here or is taken here, that L by D ratio for simply supported span, L by D ratio is 20. Are you able to see the presentation again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Now, for this formula, to find out the alpha 1, that is modification factor, as I described yesterday, for modification factor, we require to calculate Fs. Again, I will shift to the code and we'll go to the graph. Okay, this is figure 4. Are you able to see the figure 4?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in this figure, we have to find out first the Fs value, which is 0.58 Fy into ratio of the steel required divided by steel provided. Now, initially, we don't have any data regarding the steel because that is what we want to design in the slab. So we will take this or we'll assume this value as 1. We will consider this ratio as 1. It means whatever is the steel required, the same we are providing. That is our assumption. Okay, and that is actually expected in the design. Lesser area, if we provide area of the steel lesser than the required one, obviously our design will not be safe. Either we can provide equal to or little greater. We cannot exceed to the higher value. Also we cannot provide a higher value of the percentage of steel so that our beam or the section may turn into over reinforced section. To avoid that, we have to provide the steel just equal to or just little more than the required one. So we'll consider this ratio initially as 1. So our Fs will be equal to 0.58 into Fy into 1. What is the Fy value given in the problem statement?
415.
415. So put the value of Fy here. So 0.58 into 415 into 1. What is the value of Fs you are getting?
240.7.
240.7. So we have assumed here Fs value as 240 Newton per mm square. Okay. Now the percentage steel we have to assume initially, so that we can make use of this graph to find out modification factor. Fs value we have already calculated, which is 240. So we have to refer this curve now. Are you able to see the curve corresponding to Fs equal to 240?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So we have to refer this curve now. Now we will assume the percentage of tension reinforcement. In the design steps, I have given you one table in which, corresponding to specific grade of a steel, what should be the range of the percentage steel to be assumed, that value is given. So refer that
0.
table.
0.25 to 0.45.
Correct. So for Fy 415, Fy equal to 415, the value ranges between 0.25 to 0.45. We will assume the value here as 0.35, a mean value or a middle value between the lowest and highest range. Okay, so for 0.35, 0.35 will come somewhere here. Just try to consider the scale, whatever is plotted on x-axis. So this is 0.4 somewhere here, right? This will be 0.2, right? 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, like that. So 0.3 will come somewhere here. So close to a little ahead of this point, somewhere here, I have to draw a vertical line. I have to draw the line and extend it till it cuts 240, Fs equal to 240 curve. So it will cut somewhere here, and from that I have to extend the line in a horizontal direction, which will cut the y-axis. So somewhere here my value is coming, which is little greater than 1.2 and lesser than 1.6, but not little, it is much more greater than 1.2. So what will be the value? It is 1.2 and 1.6. The middle value will be 1.4 if I'm not wrong, right?
1.38.
1.38. So
38.
So approximately 1.38 or 1.38 will be the approximate value of the modification factor. Okay, so in this fashion, you are expected to calculate the initial modification factor value alpha 1. Okay, so let us shift to your presentation. Are you able to see the presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So 1.38, or here I have taken a little higher value, alpha 1 equal to 1.4. Okay, modification factor. Now putting this value of alpha 1 here, L by D equal to 20, span is 1500 mm. Put all the values and do the calculation and tell me whether you are getting this value or not. Everybody is supposed to write down this solution and do the calculations simultaneously and verify my answers through your calculations.
Yes, ma'am.
It is coming as 53.57.
Yes, ma'am. 53.57.
Okay. So this is a very small depth. You can just
Ma'am?
imagine. Yes.
मॅम एल बाय डी घेताना आपण एल आणि डी कोणता घेतला होता म्हटलं तुम्ही?
L by D is 20 based on the IS code provisions. मी आता दाखवलं ना तुम्हाला IS code मध्ये सिम्पली सपोर्टेड स्लॅबला 20 असतो, कॅन्टिलिव्हरला 7 आहे, कंटिन्युअसला 26 आहे.
मग आपण कॅल्क्युलेट नाही करत का दिलेल्या याच्यावरनं?
दिले कुठे व्हॅल्यू? डी कुठे दिली व्हॅल्यू? डी आपण कॅल्क्युलेट करतोय ना आता.
ओके.
फक्त एल माहितीये आपल्याला. फॉर्म्युला बघ ना तू, डी इक्वल टू स्पॅन अपॉन एल बाय डीच आहे ना परत इथे. डी कुठं माहितीये आपल्याला. सो वी हॅव टू consider this value as per the values given in IS 456. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you have already designed the beams, solved the problems based on design of beams. You have already calculated the effective depth value. You can just recall any problem, say simply supported design of simply supported singly reinforced beam. In that case, our depth value normally comes equal to say 100 mm or 90 mm, like that. and you can observe here what is the depth of the slab is required. It is just 53 mm. Okay, so the value required, depth of the slab required comes very, very small. So we do not go to the same value. We can increase the value to the higher side for safety purpose. Obviously, if the depth of the slab will increase, if we increase the depth, obviously the moment carrying capacity of the slab will increase, and that is beneficial for us only. Okay, so we will increase this depth to say 70 mm to the highest value. You can use 60 mm value also. I have used here 70 mm value. Okay, so I have rounded off this particular value to the higher side as 70 mm. Now I will assume, see, this is the effective depth. That means from top of the slab up to the center of the steel, the total depth is just 70 mm. I have to accommodate my reinforcement in that depth only. So I have to assume the diameter maybe 6 mm, 8 mm, 10 mm, maximum 12 mm. If you assume, I don't think that the 12 mm diameter will be required here, because the depth of the slab required itself is around 55 mm. So we can go, or we have to go to the lesser diameter of the steel. So I have adopted here 8 mm diameter bars. And the clear cover we have to decide based on the exposure conditions given. What is the exposure condition given?
Mild.
Mild exposure condition. So if you refer the table for the exposure conditions, can you tell me the page number? I forgot that.
47.
Again?
47.
47. Okay. So I will go to page number 47 here and will refer the table. Yes, 47. So for mild exposure condition, the nominal concrete cover in mm should not be less than 20. So 20 mm cover minimum is required. We will adopt plus 5 mm more. Okay. For main reinforcement up to 12 mm diameter bar, for mild exposure, the nominal cover may be reduced by 5 mm, but I'm adding it, means increasing. Instead of reducing or decreasing, I'm increasing the cover by 5 mm for more safe design. Okay, so 20 mm is required. You can adopt 20 as it is. I have added 5 mm more in the design to get my design more safe. Okay, so after adding 5 mm, I'm assuming here the clear cover of 25 mm. Are you getting now how we have decided clear cover? Is it clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So my clear cover is 25 mm. My effective cover will be 25 plus half the bar diameter. So 25 plus 4. What is the value? (25 plus 4).
29.
29. So 29. So I have to add 29 into this value, 70 mm value, effective depth, to find out the overall depth. Okay, so 70 plus 29, it is coming around 99. So I am providing here the overall depth of 100 mm. Okay, are you getting how to calculate the depth value of the slab? I hope everybody is
Ma'am,
writing.
can we take depth as 60?
You can take depth as 60. In that case, 60 plus 29, whatever is the value, you will get approximately the 90 mm as overall depth. No problem. Okay, but normally, practically, see, erecting the formwork of 90 mm depth and erecting a formwork of 100 mm depth, that normally 10 mm difference does not matter. म्हणजे ऍक्च्युअली तुम्ही प्रॅक्टिकली जेव्हा फॉर्मवर्क इरेक्ट करता तेव्हा हे जे डायमेन्शन्स असतात ना, त्या डायमेन्शनचा अप्रॉक्सिमेट अंदाज घेऊन फॉर्मवर्क रेडी असतात ऑलरेडी. म्हणजे 100 mm डेप्थ किंवा 120 mm फॉर्मवर्कचं हे रेडी असतं, डिझाईन रेडी असतं. सो प्रॅक्टिकली जे व्हॅल्यूज असतात कॉमनली अडॉप्टेड त्या प्रोव्हाइड केल्या जातात प्रॅक्टिकली. 100 mm हे क्लिअरली असतं किंवा 120 mm हे ओव्हरऑल डेप्थ असलेले फॉर्मवर्क रेडी असतात प्रॅक्टिसमध्ये. Okay, so by considering the practical requirements also we have to go for the design. Are you getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the next step is finding the effective span. So again, go to the code. I will shift to the code now and tell me the clause where the effective span criteria is given. Can anybody tell me
Page
that?
number 34.
Okay, 34. Page number 34, effective span. Page number 35 rather, for continuous, no, sorry, for simply supported slab. 34. So the effective span of a member that is not built integrally with its support shall be taken as clear span plus the effective depth of the slab or beam or center to center distance of supports, whichever is less. The same criteria which we have used for design of beam is required to be adopted for slab also. So the same is used over here. Effective span, the least of center to center distance, that is 1500 mm, because the diagram whatever is given is a center line diagram. So the center to center distance is 1500 mm. Clear length, here instead of considering adding 230 mm on both sides the width of the support, I've considered directly the center to center span only, or rather the calculations are done over here. 1500 minus 230 is the clear cover. Why 230? Because the width of the support is 230. So half from one side and half from other side. Combinedly it becomes 230. So minus 230 plus effective depth we have adopted as 70 mm. So it is coming as 1340. So out of the two values, that is 1500 and 1340 mm, the least we have to adopt. So effective span for all further calculation will be taken as 1340 mm. Is it clear, this step? Students?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now going to the next step, that is load calculation. For load calculation, the slabs are designed always for 1 meter width. So we always assume 1 meter strip of a slab and we consider B value as always 1 meter, that is 1000 mm. And for that value, the load calculations are done. So the first step is to calculate the dead load. Now dead load will be comprising of the self weight of the slab and floor finish, whatever is provided above the slab. So self weight is calculated by 25 BD, this formula. 25 is unit weight for RC. Width of the slab is 1 meter and D, that is overall depth, is taken as 100 mm here. Okay. So by putting all these values, the self weight coming is equal to 2.5 kilonewton per meter. Floor finish we always assume as 1 kilonewton per meter square multiplied by the width of the slab, because 1 kilonewton per meter square, this is per meter square area. We have to find out the load in terms of UDL. So multiplying by the width, we get 1 kilonewton per meter as the floor finish. Okay, so the total weight of dead load comprising of self weight and floor finish is coming equal to 3.5 kilonewton per meter. Is it clear, these calculations? Students, please
Yes, ma'am.
give me the quick response. Second is live load. Live load is already given in the problem statement, that is 3 kilonewton per meter square. Again multiplied by width, I will get the load in UDL. So 3 kilonewton per meter is the load. Total load is calculated further, that is dead load plus live load, which is coming out to be 6.5. 3.5 plus 3, 6.5. And this is the working load. So convert it into design load or ultimate load by applying a partial safety factor of 1.5. So it is 9.75 kilonewton per meter. Okay. So the total load acting on this slab is 9.75 kilonewton per meter, for which now in the next step we have to calculate the bending moment and shear force value. So the next step is to calculate the ultimate moment and shear force. Simply supported beam subjected to UDL, we already know the formula for bending moment, WL square by 8. So the same formula we will use here. WL square by 8. W is 9.75. L effective is, we have already calculated as 13. What is the value? 1384. Effective length. Nobody has noted the value.
1340.
Again,
40.
1340. So put that value of 1340 here, effective length, square divided by 8, we will get this value. Just verify whether we are getting 2.19 as the MU or not. Do the calculation quickly. Are you getting the same value?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Similarly, the ultimate shear force is calculated as WL by 2. So all the values are put here and the value is calculated as 6.53 kilonewton. What is the next step now? Nobody is sitting with the design steps.
Check
Huh?
for
Check for
check
moment
for resistance
capacity.
capacity.
I could not listen you properly. Can you repeat, please?
Check for moment resistance capacity.
Yes. So the next step is finding the moment carrying capacity, that is MUR max. The formula is the same one which we have used for beam, that is RU max BD square, or you can put the value of RU max. Either you can use RU max value directly from the table. The table we have prepared in initial lectures only in the initial month of August. For given grade of the concrete and grade of steel, what will be RU max, that we have already calculated. So the same value is adopted here as 0.138, and then the value of BD square is also placed in the formula, and MUR max is calculated like this. Okay, so the MUR max is coming as 13.52 kilonewton meter. Now, if you don't know what is the RU max value, this constant or these expressions, you can put the expression for RU max as 0.36 FCK B into KU max into bracket D minus 0.42 KU max into BD square. So that formula you can use and find out MUR max. So I hope you are getting the same answer as 13.52 kilonewton meter. What was our MU value, which we have calculated in the earlier step?
2.19.
MU 2.19 kilonewton meter, and MUR max is coming as 13.52 kilonewton meter. So our assumption of D, effective depth, and the other values are correct. Okay, or whatever the D value we have used for the calculation are correct, because our moment carrying capacity of the slab is coming greater than MU, actual moment acting on a slab. Now the next step is
Calculation of main steel.
Calculation of main steel.
calculation of main steel. Okay, now here the formula is same again, AST equal to 0.5 FCK upon FY. FCK is 20, FY is 415. MU value is, which value we have to consider? MU as
2.19.
2.19, right. Into B will be 1 or 1000 mm, and D will be the effective value 70. So put all the values and find out AST. Quickly do the calculation and tell me whether the correct value you are getting, whatever I have written, the same value you are getting or not. Are you getting the same value?
Yes, ma'am. 89.
Okay, great. Now compare this value with the minimum AST. Minimum AST is to be taken as 0.12% of the overall cross section. As we are using HYSD bar, we have to consider 0.12%. If we are using MS bar, then we have to use 0.15%. Normally for main steel, we never use mild steel. We always use HYSD. So the minimum area will be 0.12% of BD, which is coming as 120 mm square. And the AST required is 89, which is greater than AST minimum. So this value we have to provide as the AST. Okay. Now suppose your AST value is coming as say 150 mm square, and your AST minimum is, sorry, I explain in opposite manner. AST coming is at as 89 mm square and AST minimum is 120. The area of the steel which is to be provided in the slab should be always greater than the minimum value. Now here our value is coming as 89 and minimum value is coming as 120. So we have to provide AST as 120 mm square. That is the minimum whatever is required. Okay. So AST we are providing as equal to 120 mm square. We have already assumed that 8 mm diameter bars are there. So for 8 mm diameter bar, the area of the single bar comes out to be 50.26. That is pi d square by 4. Pi into 8 square by 4. That value is coming as 50.26. Now by making use of this equation of spacing, 1000 into AST divided by total area of the steel. Putting all these value, our spacing is coming as 418 mm. We have to check this spacing with the given condition in IS 456. The condition is 3D or 300 mm, whichever is lesser. The spacing should be less than or should not be greater than. What is the condition? Can you just read me the condition?
Lesser of 3D or 300 mm.
Fine, but spacing should be greater than this condition or less than this condition?
Less than.
The spacing should be less than 3D or 300 mm, whichever is lesser. Now our D value is 70. So 70 into 3 is coming as 210 or 300. The lesser value is 210. The spacing should be always less than 210. Now the spacing, our calculated spacing is coming as 418, which is exceeding the minimum value 210. So we have to provide this value of spacing. So adopt S equal to 210 mm. Okay. So these are the details of the area of the steel. We are providing 8 mm diameter bar at 210 mm center to center spacing. Okay. So what is the AST provided? This value will definitely change because S value we have calculated based on this AST and area of the single bar, and this value itself we are changing. So what is the AST provided, that we need to calculate. So again, by using the same formula here, we will put the value of S here and we will keep AST as unknown and we'll find out the AST here. So from this, the AST provided is coming as 239.33 mm square. Okay, so the AST provided is 239.33 mm square. Is it clear? All these calculations?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now what is the next step?
Calculation of distribution steel.
Correct. So calculation of distribution steel, which we provide along the another direction. That is, yes.
And don't we check it that it is over reinforced or not?
That step is missing in IS 456 itself. Okay. Actually, whatever the AST provided, for that we should calculate the percentage steel, and that percentage steel should be checked against the balanced or critical percentage steel. That step is required. Practically, we definitely do it. But as a design step, theoretical part, when you refer any book or any textbook for the design purpose, or even if you refer the IS code, that particular step is not provided. So it is not included here. But practically, we have to check what is the percentage steel we are getting against the AST provided, and it should be less than the critical percentage of steel, which is provided for balance section. Okay. So So for exam point of view also, if you don't do that step, it is okay. But practically you should adopt that step. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now going to the next step, that is calculation of distribution steel. Distribution steel, normally the diameter provided is lesser than the main steel, because this steel is provided only to take care of the shrinkage, cracks and temperature variation. This steel do not take participation in resisting moment. Okay, so we actually do not design this steel to resist the movement or to check the movement capacity of the slab. This steel is provided only to take care about the shrinkage, cracks. So we can go for the minimum diameter of the bar, that is 6 mm, and even we can use the mild steel also, plain bar. So it is written here to provide 6 mm diameter mild steel bars. So ASD, the area of the steel required, distribution steel, is always provided as the minimum required. There is no formula like ASD for ASD. Okay, whatever is the minimum required, that we provide. So the minimum required is 0.15% of overall cross-sectional area, that is B into capital D. For mild steel, it is 0.15%. So accordingly, our ASD is coming as 150 mm square. Now again, we have to find out what is the spacing required here. So for 6 mm diameter, the single bar area comes out to be 28.27 mm square, pi d square by 4, according to this formula. Then again, we put these values of ASD 150 and small ASD 28.27 into this expression of spacing. And we find out the, we calculate the SD, that is a spacing between distribution steel, as 188 mm. Okay. For practical implementation, instead of considering 188 mm, we normally round it off to the close terms in terms of 5 or 0. So we have rounded it off to 185 mm. Closing spacing, always you have to reduce rather than increasing when we adopt the value in the calculation. So we have adopted it as 185 mm, and we have to verify this value against the given clause of IS 456, that is 5D or 450 mm, whichever is lesser. So this value should be less than, spacing should be less than 5D, which is coming as 350, or 450, whichever is lesser. So it should be less than 350, and it is coming less than 350. So we are adopting the same value what we have calculated here, that is SD equal to 185 mm. So this is the explanation or for distribution steel, that we are providing 6 mm diameter bar at 185 mm center to center spacing. Okay, this is the description for distribution steel. Any doubts in this?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now the next step is check for deflection. Either you can do the calculation for percentage steel and compare it with the assumed value, or you can again go to find out the modification factor again, that is alpha 1, find out the depth. After finding the true alpha 1 value, find out the depth required and compare it with the assumed value. In both ways, the check for deflection is correct. Okay, so the both I have shown here. For exam point of view, I just suggest all of you that you complete the percentage steel calculation and compare it with assumed value, because it requires lesser number of calculations and it will save your time. Okay, so the first we calculate the percentage steel. AST provided, can somebody tell me what is the value AST provided? This is, we are talking about
120.
main steel.
120 mm square.
AST provided, we
239.33.
again
239.33.
239.33.
correct. We have adjusted the spacing and we again calculated the AST provided. So that final calculated AST provided should be used for all further calculation. So it is 239. So put that value here. BD, we already know these values, and find out the percentage steel. Check whether you are getting the same value of 0.34 or not.
Yes, ma'am. 0.34.
Yes. And what is our assumed value?
0.35.
Correct. So the percentage steel required is coming or provided is coming as 0.34 and our assumed value is 0.35. So whatever the design we have done is safe and or is correct. Suppose if this value is coming as 0.36 and our assumed value is 0.35, in that case our calculation of depth and further all calculation based on D value will go wrong. It means your design is not safe. In that case, whatever the value you are getting here after calculation, suppose if it is getting 0.36, you have to use the same one, recalculate the depth and do all the calculations again. That is find out the MUR max again. But if you check or consider the MUR max calculation step, the MUR max value is much more higher than the actual moment acting on a slab. So anyways, your design will come safe at that step itself. Okay. So don't worry when you do the calculation for design of one-way slab for your term work also, you have to take care of all these checks. Okay, and don't worry, your design will come safe initially because initially only we have adopted much higher values. See, the D trial D calculated was coming out to be equal to 53 and we have adopted 70. So we have already increased the value to the higher side and we have done all the further calculation. So initially we have initially only we have taken care that our design will come safe. Okay. So this is one way of checking deflection. Another way, calculate the stress in steel. So FS formula 0.58 into Fy into AST required upon AST provided. So here it will be AST required is 120, AST provided is 239. Put all the values, find out Fs, and then making use of the figure 4, that is the graph for modification factor, find out alpha 1, put that value here and find out the depth required. See, the depth required is again reduced to 37 and our assumed value is 70. So this is still coming safe. Okay, so instead of doing all these steps, I suggest that you simply calculate percentage steel and compare it with the assumed value. If it is coming less than assumed value, your design is safe. Avoid all these complicated calculations to save your time in the examination. Is it clear to everybody? Check for deflection. Guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Akshata, it's your duty now to respond me because all others are very irresponsive in the lecture. I'm observing it from last 2.5 months. I'm getting response from 2 to 3 students only. Others are simply putting, I think, the video on and doing their other work. That is the feeling what I'm getting here now. They are not interested in doing the calculation and giving the response in the class. So now I hope every lecture, Akshata or Aarti or Onkar or Ritik, these selected students will give me the response. And I expect quick response from you. So the next is check for shear. The design shear force we have already calculated as 6.53 kilonewton. The next, we have to calculate the VUC max. So the formula is tau C max into BD. Can you tell me what is the tau C max value by referring IS code?
2.8.
It's written here, but how you have calculated it? 2.8.
And for grade of concrete, M20 grade.
Okay, so for M20 grade, tau C max is coming as 2.8. So putting the values in the formula, 2.8 into B is 1 or 1000 and D is 70. We are getting VUC max as 196. Whether it is correct or not, just tell me. VUC max 196.
Correct, ma'am.
196.
Okay. So
Yes, ma'am.
it means whatever the D value we have adopted is correct. Our VUC max is coming greater than VU. The next step is we have to calculate the shear resistance provided by the concrete, that is VUC. VUC equal to K into tau C into BD. Now, overall depth D is 1000 mm. So for that, the K is coming as 1.3. I think I need to explain you this through the clause. So I will go back to the IS code, page number 72. page number 72, right? Yes. Okay. What is the clause 40.2.11? So I will go to that clause. 40.2.11. Yeah, this clause. According to this, um, for solid slabs, the design shear strain for concrete shall be tau c k, where k is the value given below. This table also you need to refer for the slabs. This was not there for beams. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
For solid slab, the formula is K into tau C. K value is to be adopted based on this particular table. Overall depth of the slabs, the values are given here and corresponding K values are given. Suppose your depth is, say, not exactly 250 or not exactly 225. Suppose the depth is, say, 215. So for that, you need to do the interpolation and find out the K value. Now, what is our depth, overall depth? It is just
100
100
mm.
mm. Huh. So for 150 or less value, the K value comes out to be 1.3. So the same value is adopted here in the calculation. Okay, so this is 1.3. Tau C value, how to find out now tau C? It is based on your percentage steel calculation, right? By making use of this table. This we have already discussed at the time of design of beam. So by making use of that table, tau C value is to be calculated, which is coming out as for percentage steel of 0.34 and M20, tau C is coming as 0.403. Okay, so this you can verify later on because you need to do the interpolation. Are you able to see the presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So putting all these value, K is 1.3, tau C is 0.403 and BD value, our VUC value is coming as 36.67 kilonewton, which is greater than VU of 6.53. So our design or check for shear is also satisfied. If this check is not satisfied, it means again you have to increase the D either, or you have to increase M20 or grade of the concrete. Okay, or you can even increase the percentage steel, but percentage steel increase is risky because we at the same time we should not turn our slab as a over reinforced section. So instead of increasing the percentage steel, either increase the depth or better to change the grade. So better anyways, if you change the grade or if you change the depth, all the earlier steps you need to repeat again. Okay, so to avoid all these, initially only when you assume the D value, go to the higher side. Someone has asked me, right, if can we adopt D equal to 60 mm. You can, but you have to think about all these checks. Okay, at any particular stage, suppose your check is not getting satisfied, you need to increase the depth and recalculate all the steps. So to avoid this repetitive work, it is always better to assume the D value or adopt the D value to the higher side. Okay, so the check for shear is also satisfied. The last check is check for development length. Okay. Now this formula we have already discussed yesterday. Development length is calculated by LD. The formula is 0.87 Fy phi divided by 4 tau BD. Okay. So, and there is a condition for LD. The LD should be always less than 1.3 M1 divided by VU plus L0. So we will first calculate LD by making use of this formula. So what is phi here? Diameter of the bar we have already adopted as 8 mm.
8 mm.
Tau BD, we have to make use of this clause, page number 43. So I will quickly go to code again here, page number 43. Yes, page number 43. So for M20 grade, the design bond stress, that is tau BD, is coming as 1.2. Okay, so that value is adopted here, 1.2. And 0.87 Fy into phi is 8 divided by 4 into 1.2. our value is coming as LD is coming as 376 mm. Have you checked this value? Is anybody doing the calculation? Check for
601.72.
1 minute. I forgot to explain you one statement here. Are you able to see the code here on the
Yes, ma'am.
screen? Below this table, one statement is written: for deformed bars conforming to IS 1786, these values shall be increased by 60%. So whatever the tau BD value 1.2 you are adopting, if your steel is HYST, that is deformed bar, that is Fy equal to 415, in that case this value should be increased by 60%. And that's why here tau BD value is increased by 60% by applying a multiplication factor of 1.6. Okay, so the tau BD should be 1.6 into 1.2, that is 1.92. So put this value,
Yes, ma'am. That 376.09.
so you are getting 376 as LD development length. Now coming to the right hand side of the equation, 1.3, we always increase this ratio by 30%, we have discussed yesterday. M1 is considered as the half of the MUR max. Why half? Because 50% steel we always bent up. We bent it and provide the further portion after bending of the steel in the compression zone. So in the tension zone, only 50% steel is available near the support. Okay, and all these calculations we are doing near the support. So near the support, the moment resisting capacity goes down to 50% because only 50% steel is available. That's why M1 value is considered as MUR max by 2. So that value is 6.73. MURG value किती होती? 13 point something ना?
13.5.
13.52.
13.52 divided by 2, we are getting 6.74 as the available moment resisting capacity near the support. VU will remain same because at the support, the VU value, whatever is provided by the concrete, whatever is the actual shear force acting at the support, the same value we have to use here. L0 calculation. Now L0 is actually the calculation of hook allowance and the X2 value, that is the anchorage length value. Okay, so X2 value is calculated by making use of this formula which we have yesterday already discussed. We have considered here 90% bend. It means the bar will be bent at 90 degree only. So for 90 degree, L0 formula is BS by 2 minus X1 plus 3 times phi. By putting all these values, BS is 230, it is the width of the support. Minus X1 is our clear cover, which we have assumed initially as 25, plus 3 times the diameter 8 mm. So putting all these values, L0 is coming as 114 mm. Okay. Now this value should be less than 70 or 96. I think I need to show you the criterias which we have discussed yesterday. I will go to that slide again here. See, this is the criteria. Okay, X2 calculation and R, all these values, after putting R and X2, the L0 expression comes out to be BS by 2 minus X1 plus 3 phi. Okay, so the same formula is used here in the calculation. Okay, L0. So L0 value, I will go to the code again. Can you tell me the page number? This is LD4, it will be the next page, L0. Now L0, see here, are you able to see the code?
Yes, ma'am.
What is L0? L0 is the sum of the anchorage beyond the center of the support and the equivalent anchorage value of any hook or mechanical anchorage at simple support and at a point of inflection. This we have calculated now. L0 is limited to the effective depth of the member or 12 phi, whichever is greater. So effective depth we have adopted is 70 mm and 12 phi we have to calculate the value 12 phi, which is coming as 96 here. Okay, so 70 or 96, out of these two value, whichever is greater, 96 is greater. So L0 should be less than 96. Should be less than or should not be greater? What is the criteria? I forgot. Is limited to. It means it should not be greater than 96. And our calculated value is coming as 114 mm. It is exceeding 96. So L0 should be used in the calculation equal to 96 mm. Is it clear to everybody? L0 we have calculated as 114, but according to the limitation, we have adopted 96. So put this value of 96 here. VU, what is the VU value?
6.53.
6.53, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody was asking me some doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh.
70 कळलं नाही मला ते 96 ते कळलं पण 70 काय आहे तिथं
70 is effective depth. IS कोड ओपन केलंयस का तू? तुझ्याकडे आहे आता?
येस मॅम
IS कोड मधला तो क्लॉज बघतेस का तू L0 चा?
येस मॅम
L0 is limited to. काय लिहिले वाच बरं पुढे? Are you reading? Hello?
मॅम पेज नंबर IS ओपन आहे म्हणते पेज नंबर
पेज नंबर सांगा रे जरा. 36 और 37 काहीतरी असेल. काय आहे पेज नंबर सांगा. अक्षता?
मॅम हुक अलाउन्स 43 वर होतं.
हा L0 हा जो फॉर्म्युला आहे वरती लिहिलेला 1.3 M1 हा फॉर्म्युला कुठल्या पेज वरती आहे ते सांग.
44.
हा रेफर 44 पेज नंबर. Who was talking else? Aarti na? Who was asking me the doubt?
येस मॅम
हा सो ओपन पेज नंबर 44. L0 चे जे मीनिंग तिथं दिलेलं आहे तिथं वाच. हा
sum of anchorage beyond the center of the support and the equivalent anchorage value of any hook or mechanical anchorage at simple support and at a point of inflation L0 is limited to the effective depth of the members or 12 phi whichever is greater.
Yes. So effective depth of the member or 12 phi. Effective depth we have adapted as 70. So this is the 70 value here. And 12 phi. Phi is 8. 12 into 8.
Yes ma'am.
So it is 96. Okay. So out of these two value, the greater value is 96 and our L0 value should be less than 96, which is not. So we have to adopt 96 value here.
Yes ma'am.
Okay. So putting all the values, M1 as 6.74, VU is 6 point something, L0 is 96, we will get the value as 1437.31 and your LD value should be less than this. LD value calculated was 376.
Ma'am?
Yes.
मॅम त्या टर्मचं ऍडिशन 97.34 येत आहे.
कुठल्या?
1.3 M1 by VU plus L0.
VU किती घेतला तुम्ही?
6.53.
It should be in Newton, huh?
Okay.
Because M1 is also in L0 तुम्ही नाहीतर मग मीटर मध्ये कन्वर्ट करा. I have written
Okay,
answer here as in mm. Either you use M1 VU in kilonewton meter and L0 in meter or convert everything into Newton meter mm.
Correct ma'am.
ते तुम्ही VU kilonewton मध्ये घेतला असणार आणि M1 kilonewton मध्ये आणि L0 mm मध्ये, त्यामुळे चुकणार. बरोबर आहे ना?
Yes ma'am.
Okay. So our check for development is also getting satisfied. What to do now if this check is not satisfied? If suppose LD is coming greater than 1.3 M1 upon VU plus L0, what to do? We have to increase LD, or sorry, decrease LD, right? So to decrease LD, we have to decrease the diameter of the bar. Instead of that, simply provide LD equal to this value. That is the best solution, right? LD should be less than this. If it is coming greater than this, whatever is this right hand side expression you are getting, provide LD equal to that much. That will be your simple solution. Okay, is it clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
So coming to the diagram now. This diagram I have taken from SP34. SP34 is a handbook which is used for giving the detailing of reinforcement. It is specifically for detailing of reinforcement. I suggest everybody to download SP34 and refer to the detailings given here. Now the detailing means what? This is the plan of my slab, and in this plan they have shown the main reinforcement over here like this. We always bend the bars for main reinforcement. This is a distribution steel. We do not bend the bars for distribution steel. Okay, so see how to represent all these detailing. This is as per SP34 and the same is expected in your sheet also for term work. What is given? We do not draw all the lines or all the bars. Okay, we simply draw two bars, one showing a bend on the right hand side, another showing the bend on the left hand side. What should be the distance for bent up bar? That is specified clearly, and we have to adopt the specified value only, which is always taken as 1.1 L. Okay, in our case the L is 1500 mm or 1.5 meters. So at a distance of 0.1 L from the center of the support, okay, the bar should be bent, and this bending is done always at 45 degrees. So bar is bent at 45 degree and the remaining portion is provided in the compression zone. So this is actually I'm showing in the plan, but this is the true picture. In the section it will look like this. Okay, now this is about the distribution steel. Now see how the information given for main bar. See the details of main bars along this line, whatever the details are given along this line, these are related to main bars. असंच लिहायचं म्हणजे तुमच्या टर्मवर्क मध्ये तुम्ही जे प्लॅन ड्रॉ कराल ते अशा पद्धतीनंच पाहिजे, बिकॉज दिस इज व्हॉट इज एक्सपेक्टेड ॲज पर SP34. ओके, सिमिलरली डिटेल्स ऑफ द डिस्ट्रीब्युशन बार्स अलॉंग दिस लाईन म्हणजे कुठल्या या आडव्या लाईन मध्ये जे दिलेले डिटेल्स आहेत दॅट इज युअर डिस्ट्रीब्युशन बारचे डिटेल्स आहेत. सो दिस इज ही जी लाईन दिसते तुम्हाला दॅट इज युअर डिस्ट्रीब्युशन स्टील. ओके, नाव इथं तुम्हाला यू हॅव टू स्पेसिफाय थिकनेस इन प्लॅन. म्हणजे एक इथं असा एक ब्लॉक काढायचा. यू हॅव टू ड्रॉ वन ब्लॉक अँड राईट डाऊन द थिकनेस ऑफ द स्लॅब इन दॅट ब्लॉक. and we always specify the overall depth. So 100 mm असं लिहून इथं एक ब्लॉक काढायचा. So that specifies the thickness. Okay, then you are supposed to draw the cross section like this. This is the section along AA. Now where is section along? This is the section along AA, and it gives us the details of the main reinforcement. Main reinforcement आधी प्लेस केलेले असतात. सो दी हॉरिझॉन्टल लाईन गिवन बिलो इज द मेन रेनफोर्समेंट. त्याच्यावरती हे जे तुम्हाला सर्कल्स दिसतात दीज आर नथिंग बट युअर डिस्ट्रीब्युशन स्टील. ओके, अँड द बार इज बेंट ऑन बोथ द एंड्स. द डिस्टन्स ऑफ बेंटिंग is already given in the plan 0.1 L, and the 50% bars are bent, so it is written in 0.5 AST in the top zone. Okay, आता हे center line च्या पुढे the bar how much is to be extended beyond the center line, that is normally given by the LD. So LD is this much is the distance beyond the center line, that is your LD. Okay, so these details are there along the section AA. What will be the section along BB? I am taking a section like this. I am cutting the slab like this and I am viewing the cross section. It will look like this. So the bar which are placed at the bottom are my main steel. So it will look like a dots in this section, and above that there will be a distribution steel. So it will be like a single line. Okay, so you have to specify this, that these dots are nothing but your main bars, and this thick line is nothing but your distribution steel. Okay, so these are the expected detailing. Exam मध्ये सुद्धा when you complete a one design of one way slab, at the end of the design you are expected to draw the diagram. When you go to the site, when you start working as a site engineer, you will never get a file of the design. You will get this diagram. You should be able to read the diagram appropriately, and you have to place the steel reinforcement correctly at the required location based on these details. Okay, साइट वरती केव्हाही तुमच्या हातात फाईल नसते. यू विल ऑलवेज गेट अ शीट. शीट वरती सगळे डिटेल्स असतात. त्या डिटेल्स वरून तुम्हाला ऍक्च्युअल इम्प्लिमेंट करायचं असतं कन्स्ट्रक्शन. सो युअर शीट्स मस्ट स्पीक all the details about your design. Maximum details of the design should be presented on the sheet. Whenever you draw the sheet, always keep in mind that I have to refer this sheet for actual implementation or actual construction on the site. Accordingly, your sheet should be drawn. Is it clear?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, for the bent up spacing that is given 0.1 L, the L should be L effective or the center to center distance between supports.
Effective. L effective.
Okay.
Okay. Is it clear? So we'll stop today. Again, I extended the lecture by 10 minutes, and actually I decided to start your next problem also, at least to complete the half the problem. But unfortunately, again, there is a problem with time management. So I'm giving you now the link for attendance. All are requested to give the attendance through the link only. So we have completed here design of simply supported one-way slab. In the next lecture, we will start with the design of continuous slab, because in the same problem statement, if you refer the diagram consists of the remaining 3 slabs which are expected to be designed as a continuous slab. So we will continue the same design in the next lecture.